This is Two Wheel, my biped robot that I built my last semester at university. And I did this my last semester instead of studying for any of my classes. And by some miracle, I still managed to pass all of them. And so yeah, in this video, I'm just going to be going over kind of how I built this thing. And I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, to build this robot, we need to split it up into 3 different parts. That consists of the hardware, physical body, and software. Let's start with the hardware. For the list of parts, we have the ESP32 microcontroller, BNO055IMU, dual DC motor driver, capacitors, DC motors, and 20 kg servos. It took me 3 attempts to get the circuit board right, and for my first attempt, I decided I was going to hand solder everything, so I drew out the entire schematic, which was pointless because I couldn't even read it, and this is how it ended up looking. And it ended up lighting multiple components on fire. And so after that, I realized I was going to have to make my own custom PCB through a manufacturer. And I had no idea what I was doing because this was my first time ever making a custom PCB. You can most likely tell this was my first ever PCB because these wire traces are horrendous and I had no idea what I was doing. But anyways, I used JLC PCB to distribute this PCB, and not sponsored, but please sponsor me in the future. And this is how the PCB ended up looking. The only reason it didn't work was because of the bad wire traces, which caused a short circuit. But now it was time to really lock in and make something actually good here. But anyways, at this point, I started to really figure out what I was doing. I added things like capacitors, which I didn't have before. And it was just for the better that I had to make a second PCB because it was just so much better than the first one. And my wire traces were much cleaner. Still not perfect, but they actually worked this time. And I went with JLC PCB again to distribute. This is how the PCB ended up turning out. And here it is with everything soldered to it, and now with all the components attached. Now let's move on to the CAD. There's really not a whole lot to say about the CAD other than it was very time consuming because I didn't have very much experience with CAD coming into this. But given that, I feel like I really nailed the design on this. And I would say the hardest part about designing the robot was creating the leg linkages so that they moved in a straight up and down line so that there would be no forward or backward lean when in the different positions. But honestly, this went really well. Like, I didn't have to print parts multiple times other than the sliding lid to access the components. I had to print that like 5 times. But yeah, that's really all there is to say about the CAD to keep it short and simple. Well, before we can move on to the software, we have to build the robot first. So let's cue the montage.
Supposed to down right 25, chasing lights, chasing vibes, chasing crime, chasing highs. Grew up real cool, I was sitting on the outer line, never had no clicks, couldn't fit in, I was out of line. Neglected my gifts, I didn't know who I was inside. Yeah, I had a hunch, but it really wouldn't coincide. Nothing in the world couldn't really quite satisfy. Yeah, I had some faith, but when he met me, when I came alive. Gotta tell the world about his grace, how he let it shine, how he saved my life and I was facing hell. About to die, lights, camera, flash, it's gonna lead you down a homicide. Them devils creeping around the corner watching you, they all a sign. I'm convinced it's the prayers from my loved ones that kept me alive. That's why when my homies cross my mind, I'm praying deep inside. Power in Yeshua's name, he heard my prayers, see my cry. Seen that I had childlike faith, I just needed time. Faith, you gotta have some faith when it's not looking your way. Only way it's gonna break. Faith, you gotta have some faith when it's not looking okay. You gotta have some faith. Yeah, okay. Faith, only way that I maintain. Only way that I got strength. Only way I know it's okay.
Now let's go over the software. The very first thing I did was set the standing and crouch positions for each leg. And then all I did was just map those positions to buttons on my Xbox controller. I'm going to keep the PID control loop super short because it could be a whole video itself. But basically we use this idea called the inverted pendulum, and that's basically when the robot leans forward, we spin the motors forward and vice versa backwards. And to actually do that in code, we get the robot's current angle subtracted by its target angle and plug that number into a whole bunch of math, and then it will output a number that tells us how much to move the motors by. But anyways, most of the process was just me tuning values over and over to get the robot balancing just right. And I won't lie, the robot fell so many times while trying to do this. But anyways, now the robot is complete, so you know what that means. It's time for another montage. Let's go!
It's in my bloodline. No day is my giving right. I am a child of God, so I will have eternal life. This life is not mine. I'm giving everything to Christ. You put your blood on the line, so we can reunite with mine. It's in my bloodline. No day is my giving right. I am a child of God, so I will have eternal life. This life is not mine. I'm giving everything to Christ. You put your blood on the line, so we can reunite with mine. You paid the sacrifice. I think about it every night. Came to the holy light. Won't you come right in my life? Darkness is terrified. They tremble when they see your sight. I call your name on high. Yahweh, come break it with your light. We will you God alive. Satan, you cannot have my mind with faith that's bona fide. Righteous like comfort as a lie. We lift your name on high. Worship like incense, let it rise, let it rise, let it rise, let it rise, let it rise. It's in my bloodline. No day is my giving right. I am a child of God, so I will have eternal life. This life is not mine. I'm giving everything to Christ. You put your blood on the line, so we can reunite with mine. It's in my bloodline. No day is my giving right. I am a child of God, so I will have eternal life. This life is not mine. I'm giving everything to Christ. You put your blood on the line, so we can reunite with mine.
Alright, well thank you guys for watching the video, and I appreciate any of you guys who made it to the end of the video. I wanted to say that I made this wall mount for the robot as well. That looks pretty sick, I can't lie. And also, if any of you guys want to make this for yourselves, I'll link in the description my GitHub repository, and I'll have a folder with all of the CAD files or the STL files so you can print the parts, as well as the Gerber files to order the PCB, and as well as all the source code that you can upload, and also a list of all of the parts that you guys would need to build this, all completely available for free. And yeah, best way you guys can support me is just like and subscribe. And also wanted to say shout out to the Most High for making this possible, because it would not be without him. And yeah, thank you guys again for watching. Well, before we can move on to the software, we have to build the robot first. So before we can build the robot, before we can move on to the software, we have to build the robot first. So let's cue the montage.